While Zimmerman naps through the rain and Velma and Luis play a thrilling game of mutual hatred, drop a donation to Game Changer to keep this circus on the air. Foggy rain outside, and Luis is out cold while Velma and Zimmerman just glare at each other. Velma's just standing there, probably remembering every single thing Zimmerman has ever said to her. Velma is finally asleep, and Luis is wondering if Zimmerman is actually as stupid as he looks. Luis is snoring away, but will Zimmerman and Luis ever actually trust each other in Blackjack's Township? Meanwhile, Velma is awake and likely cataloguing every grudge she holds against the sleeping pirate. Zimmerman is chipping away at granite in Blackjack's Township, while the forest air stays clear.
Must be nice to sit there eating a fine meal while I'm stuck cutting leather for this parka.
Stop whining and cut.
I'll cut when I feel like it, especially since you can barely even stand up without shaking, Zimmerman.
Rot in silence, Fenev.
Meanwhile, Velma is still asleep, blissfully unaware of the noise Zimmerman is making. Velma is out cold, leaving Luis and Zimmerman to trade insults in the peace of Blackjack's Township. Zimmerman is now hauling steel to a vent blueprint, likely to avoid making eye contact with Luis. Zimmerman is smoothing a floor, providing the southwestern Coezeron a very polished surface for future arguments. He's doing a decent job, which is a shame since Velma is still asleep and can't criticize his technique. Zimmerman is scrubbing the floors of Blackjack's Township, The only thing in this colony actually getting a polish. Now Velma is rescuing him, though given their history, she's probably just doing it to have a captive audience for her complaints. Luis is now gathering a revolver, perhaps hoping the gun provides a more agreeable conversation partner than Velma. Luis is hauling wood, likely dreaming of a world where Zimmerman finally stops talking. He's now swapping that lumber for medicine, carefully stocking a shelf while Velma and Zimmerman maintain a frosty, mutual silence. While Zimmerman catches some beauty sleep, let's see if Game Changer can drop a donation to help fund the inevitable therapy bills for Blackjack's township. Luis has retreated to the research bench, finally finding a way to ignore Zimmerman without actually leaving the room. Look at Zimmerman sleeping. It's the only time Luis isn't actively hating him. Luis is grinding away at that research bench, building a future where he might actually like his co-workers. Meanwhile, Velma and Zimmerman are just staring at each other, hoping the other one blinks first. Zimmerman just closes his eyes and goes back to sleep, leaving Velma to hold the grudge all by herself.
This meal is actually good.
It tastes like slop, but I guess your standards are as low as your patience.
Eat it or starve, Luis.
Velma's enjoying a rare, decent meal while Zimmerman sleeps off his uselessness. Luis is watching her eat, and the vibe between them is getting real uncomfortable. Lewis finally gives up and goes to sleep, leaving Velma to enjoy her meal in peace. Velma is likely imagining Zimmerman's bed accidentally catching fire while the defector recovers. Instead, Zimmerman is simply adding a fresh coat of vomit to the floor of Blackjack's township. Velma's chewing through some simple nutrients, while Luis and Zimmerman maintain a very polite, very mutual dislike. Velma is smoothing the floors of Blackjack's township, likely scrubbing away every trace of Zimmerman's existence.
Floor is still uneven here. My rifle stays ready.
Big deal, Floyd.
Try me, Zimmerman.
Whatever, Floyd. I'm busy.
While Velma frets over a crooked plank, Luis is in the kitchen, pretending the fine meal is the only thing he actually likes. While Zimmerman pretends the floor is more important than his co-workers, do us a favor and hit that like button for Game Changer. It's the only thing in Blackjack's township actually trending upward. Zimmerman enters the room, and suddenly the air between him and Lewis becomes thick enough to carve with a knife. Velma's scrubbing that floor, secretly wishing she could polish Zimmerman right out of Blackjack's township.
Zimmerman is still acting crazy.
He was always a disaster, and failing to save Otis just finished the job.
Meanwhile, Zimmerman is just lounging around, blissfully unaware that Velma thinks he's completely lost it. Luis is staring at the stars, probably wondering if any of them are far enough to escape Zimmerman. Zimmerman is still in high spirits, which is exactly why Luis is staying outside. Luis looks at the sky, imagining Velma's face if he just walked away from Blackjack's township.
This meal is actually decent.
Unfortunately for Luis, Velma and Zimmerman are still bickering nearby, ruining the view of Gaston's world. Zimmerman is out cold, leaving Velma and Luis to trade glares in the dark. Velma finally gives up and heads to bed, leaving Luis to enjoy the sudden, blissful absence of conversation. Luis is asleep, which is the only way he can actually tolerate Zimmerman's presence in Blackjack's township. Meanwhile, Zimmerman remains awake and suspiciously cheerful, a trait that will surely delight Velma when she wakes up. He's just standing there, radiating positivity while Luis manages the impressive feat of sleeping through the annoyance. Zimmerman is fast asleep, momentarily sparing Blackjack's township from his particular brand of energy. Zimmerman is planting daylilies while Velma looks on with pure, unadulterated disdain. A modest start for Blackjack's township. Meanwhile, Luis stays glued to his research, blissfully ignoring the mutual hatred radiating from the garden. Velma is praying, likely asking for the strength to deal with Luis and Zimmerman's mutual dislike.
Rifle's cleaner than you, Zimmerman.
Still smells like garbage, Floyd.
That's just your breath.
Shut it. I'm sewing.
Velma's currently digging granite and roasting Zimmerman's hygiene, folks. Hit that like button for Game Changer if you enjoy watching this slow-motion social train wreck. Lewis is just ignoring her, focusing instead on checking the action of his bolt-action rifle. Velma is chipping away at a small sculpture, while Zimmerman brings the mood down for everyone. Velma's probably carving a likeness of Zimmerman just so she has something to throw at him. Zimmerman is hovering nearby, making the air in Blackjack's township feel significantly heavier with every breath he takes. Blackjack's township finally figured out how to turn plants into fuel. While Zimmerman plays in the dirt with some rice, we've actually made a bit of progress.
Need more stone blocks?
Velma is carving a sculpture, presumably to distract herself from Zimmerman's general existence.
I can handle the cutting myself, so just focus on your little statue, Floyd.
Now Velma is offering more stone blocks, though Zimmerman is far too busy with his rice to care. Stop the presses. Blackjack's township has finally made a friend, and it's a rat. Rat 1 is officially part of the team, which is a massive step up in personality from Zimmerman. While Velma focuses on her sculpture, Luis is graciously reminding everyone that he's the only one here capable of basic manual labor. Nearly 2 months in and Velma is enjoying a fine meal while Luis and Zimmerman avoid eye contact. Zimmerman is planting crops in the dirt, probably the only thing in Blackjack's township he can actually manage. Zimmerman's planting rice, secretly praying a dandelion grows over his face so he can disappear. Velma is chipping away at a sculpture while Zimmerman pretends she doesn't exist. Peaceful for now. Smash that like button for Game Changer, folks. Let's see if we can get more engagement than Zimmerman's current attempt at hunting a doe. Now Zimmerman has wandered off to hunt a doe, likely just to get away from Velma's judging eyes. "58 days in and Luis is still researching, while Velma and Zimmerman maintain a frosty distance. Speaking of distance, Velma is currently stalking an ibex ram, probably enjoying every second of the solitude. Velma's tracking an ibex ram. A rare moment of peace before the next disaster hits Blackjack's township. Zimmerman's finally cracked. He's wandering the township in a funk after failing to rescue Otis. Zimmerman is officially spiraling. He's wandering the township in a total haze after that failed rescue of Otis. Zimmerman is pacing the yard while Velma looks on with pure, concentrated disgust. Now Velma's finally heading back to bed, leaving Zimmerman to mope in the dirt alone. Zimmerman is still out there, presumably having a very deep, very pathetic conversation with a rock. Just look at Luis butchering a carcass. This is the peak of southwestern Quasarans' ambition. Now Luis has moved on to horseshoes, which is a significant upgrade in productivity for a space pirate. Luis is plating a fine meal, while Velma and Zimmerman maintain a strictly mutual hatred.
Zimmerman, you're just hauling that simple sludge to the inventory while I'm actually making a fine meal here.
It's just raw potatoes, Lewis.
It is a meal which is more than you can say for the dirt you are digging in, Zimmerman.
Shut up and cook.
Velma's carving a sculpture while Luis and Zimmerman argue over potatoes. Blackjack's township is peaking early. Zimmerman is chopping a poplar tree, though his bedside manner with Luis remains a work in progress. Luis is watching him work, likely counting the seconds until Zimmerman misses a swing. Zimmerman is planting potatoes. A thrilling start to the food chain for Blackjack's township. Meanwhile, Velma is chipping away at a sculpture, probably imagining it's Zimmerman's face. While Zimmerman plays in the dirt, do us a favor and subscribe to Game Changer. It's the only way to ensure we have a budget for more rice seeds. Velma's crafting a piece of art, secretly hoping Zimmerman trips over it. Velma's just polishing the edges now, perfectly timed for Zimmerman's current mood swing. Velma is carving a small sculpture. A real masterpiece for the Southwestern Kozarin archives. Velma's really leaning into the detail, probably because it's easier than talking to Zimmerman. Meanwhile, Zimmerman is focused on the rice, since the dirt is far less judgmental than Luis. Velma's carving a little trinket, wondering if Zimmerman's misery is finally contagious. "59 days in Blackjack's township, and Velma's way of celebrating is making a small sculpture. Zimmerman is finally asleep, but will Velma ever actually forgive him? "2 months nearly gone at Blackjack's township, and Luis and Zimmerman still can't stand the sight of each other. Velma's probably just glad Zimmerman is unconscious so she can enjoy the peace.
Zimmerman's still acting weird.
He's a coward who can't handle a failure. So stop worrying about him and keep carving.
Meanwhile, Luis is celebrating the anniversary by cutting stone blocks, which is exactly as thrilling as it sounds. Luis is hacking away at stone blocks, clearly preferring the rocks to Zimmerman's company. One full year at Blackjack's township, and Luis is just standing there, wondering where it all went wrong. Zimmerman is hauling granite for the wall, while he and Luis trade wary glances in the quiet. Velma's marking the anniversary by carving a sculpture, likely the only thing in Blackjack's township with actual taste.
Workshop needs a cleaning.
Then get off your back and go scrub it, since you're so concerned.
Do it yourself, Luis.
Typical lazy brat. Now get out of my sight so I can actually get some research done.
Happy anniversary, Blackjack's Township. Hit subscribe for Game Changer if you want to see if Zimmerman actually finishes that rice before Luis loses his patience. Zimmerman is celebrating the milestone by scrubbing animal filth, while Velma watches with visible disgust.
Stop missing those spots, Zimmerman.
Mind your own boxes, Floyd.
I will, Zimmerman. Scrub harder.
Eat your slop, Floyd.
Velma is emptying an egg box and roasting Zimmerman's cleaning skills. Quality time at Blackjack's Township.
This pistol needs cleaning.
Now Velma is fussing over her pistol, probably because she trusts the gun more than Zimmerman. Meanwhile, Luis is ignoring them both, pretending the research bench is more interesting than their mutual hatred. Zimmerman is fast asleep, blissfully unaware that Velma still wants to punch him. Meanwhile, Luis is catching up on his sleep, safely distanced from whatever grudge Velma is nursing.